Parallaxers, to another Parallax ASMR video. I feel like it's been a long time. I started, well, let me get into these triggers. I have 7 picked out for you. And I'll just start with, let's say this one. This is a silicone leaky mat for our dog. I'm just gonna move this wire. And if you've watched previous videos, then you know that silicone sounds are some of my favorite. I stopped posting every day, which I explained in the previous video that I posted. It was like a channel update after hitting 1,000 subscribers, which I'm still amazed by. And I'm almost at 1,100 now, which is crazy, especially because I haven't been posting as often. Part of the reason that I haven't been posting every day is because I didn't want to burn out, which is a big step for me because I often I overdo things until I burn out. So that's a big improvement. But I miss it. I miss making videos, and I miss hearing from all of you guys. I think I mentioned in probably lots of videos now that the community and like hearing from you, that's the best part of running this channel, 100%. And I really miss that. So while I don't want to force myself to post every day, I think I'm going to try to post every day. Because as much as I don't want to burn out, I also want to do it because I enjoy doing it. So that's that. This past weekend, my wife and I and a friend of ours went to Oklahoma. We live in New York, in case you don't know that. I think I've also mentioned that in previous videos. We're on Long Island, and a friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine, we're actually friends because our mothers went to elementary school together and remained friends. And then we became really close friends. He was in the army and moved to Oklahoma when he came back. Largely for financial reasons. He doesn't pay taxes there, which is really nice. It makes me wonder why I live in New York. But anyway, he lives in Oklahoma, and we went there for his wedding, which was so cool. They had a small courthouse wedding, so it was just the two of them. My wife, our friend, our mutual friend, and me. My wife and I were witnesses for their wedding. I'm going to switch triggers. While I am talking about Oklahoma, I will switch to this trigger, which I'll show you in a minute. It's a weird one, and I bet you've never seen it before. But I think it sounds pretty good. So it was just a small courthouse wedding, and then in March, they're doing a cruise. They wanted to get married beforehand so that there was less stress, like, I don't know, I imagine that it's stressful getting married on a cruise. So they got married beforehand. They just did a small courthouse wedding, and we took them to lunch afterward, and we spent the weekend there. Longer than that, actually. We left Wednesday and we came back Saturday. And it was really nice to see them. I used to see him all the time when we were younger. And then since he moved, I only see him like once or twice a year. So that friend, he has a lot of hobbies, much like I do. A lot of my friends are like that. And so he buys a lot of things. He doesn't have kids. He has a pension from the army, and he has a job too. So he has disposable income, and he buys things that he's passionate about. And one of those things is, or one of those things that he bought was a 3D printer. So we're at his house, and I asked him about the 3D printer. Has he done any like interesting projects recently? And he showed me a couple of projects which are really cool. He's also really into Dungeons and Dragons, so he's printed a lot of stuff for. He's a DM, and he's been running a campaign for like 2.5 years now. And he's printed a lot of stuff, not figurines, but he has dice towers that he's printed, dividers for on the table that he built. Anyway, he's showing me all these things, and he said, "Do you want me to 3D print you something?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And he said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I have no idea. I don't even know like what you might 3D print." So he said, "Do you want a rocktopus?" And I was like, "What's that?" And he said, "Well, do you want one?" So I said, "Yeah, sure." So it takes a long time, but like 2 hours later, he gives me this, which is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's head on an octopus body. Rocktopus, which is such a bizarre thing to print. But he thought it was funny, which it is. So now I have this, and it makes cool noises. But let's switch. Next up I have this little silicone, it's a toothbrush for our dog from when he was a puppy. So there's kind of a lot to tell you about Oklahoma if you're interested, and if you're not interested, I don't know that yet. I guess I'll find out when I see comments. We all like board games. We didn't have time for a D&D campaign while we were there because he runs really long campaigns, and it would take a lot of work just to set one up for a couple of days, but he and his wife both play, so that would have been cool, but we didn't have time for that. But we played this game called Chameleon, and it's, how do I describe it? It's like another game that I thought of in the moment, and now I can't think of the name. Oh, the Jackbox game. It's the Jackbox game where you have to like blend in with the people that know. There's like a stat or something, or a question, and it counts down, and everybody but one person can see the question, and then at the end of the countdown, it'll tell you like what to do. You either raise your hand if it applies to you, or you put up a certain number of fingers or something. So a question could be like, how many days a week do you shower? And the prompt for everybody will say, put up the number of fingers that applies to you. But there's one person who doesn't see the prompt, and they just say, and that their prompt just says, you put up a number of fingers between 1 and 7. And then you kind of have to pretend like you know what the prompt was and try to blend in with everybody else. Anyway, that's not even the game. I don't know why I'm telling you that. The game is very similar to that, though. It's called Chameleon. It's already time to switch triggers. I've taken a bunch of days off. I think the last video I posted was like 5 days ago. I've taken a bunch of days off, and now I'm all messed up with timing. Next up, I have these little plastic cups, which I use pretty often, but I put some wooden beads in there. Which sounds pretty cool. Maybe just tapping on it. Yeah, that sounds good. So this game, Chameleon, you have a card with some kind of category. So one of them was like children's toys, and everybody sees the card, and it has like 25, maybe, or 16. I think it's 25. It's a 5x5 grid. 25 options within that category. So like Super Soaker, Barbie doll, Silly Putty, things like that. And everybody gets this private card, and your card either tells you which number in the grid you're going to talk about, or it tells you you're the chameleon. The chameleon doesn't know which thing on the board everybody else is talking about, and then you go around in circles, and you're allowed to say one word to. So the point is, you want to say a word that is related enough to the thing, to like the selected word, to let everybody else know that you know what it is, but not enough to give it away to the chameleon. So the chameleon loses if everybody suspects them. So after each round, you vote, and if there's a unanimous decision about who the chameleon is, then the game's over. And the chameleon wins, obviously, if somebody else is picked. And it was a lot of fun. I really like games like that. I'm not really sure what to call them. It's like imbalanced information or something like that. Those kinds of games are a lot of fun. One of my favorite board games is Letters from Whitechapel. And it's got a really morose and disturbing theme, which is a little unfortunate, but the game is so good. If you like board games and you like games where people have disparate amounts of information, you should check that game out. It's really, really fun. You might not be able to get over the theme, though. It's disturbing. Okay, I barely played with these, but let's switch. Speaking of board games, I have this bag of stuff from this board game called Heroescape, which is also one of my favorites. And I'm going to put some of the pieces in this silicone mold because it sounds really good. So I'm just putting a couple of dice as a D20, and then these like custom dice made for the game in here. I love how that sounds. Somebody actually recommended this in one of my videos, and I just loved it. So anyway, this game, Chameleon, that's the gist of it. That's pretty much everything. But the friend who lives in Oklahoma wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. So he does a lot of his grocery shopping at it's like a budget grocery store. I think it's a local one in Oklahoma, but they have these, they're called mystery cans. So if the store has cans, like, cans, aluminum cans, and the label falls off, then they will sell them for like, I think it's between 25 cents and 75 cents. And you can buy them, but you don't know what's in them. So my friend had a bunch of these mystery cans, and he brought them out, and the rule was if the chameleon loses, then the chameleon has to choose a mystery can, open it, and take a spoonful of whatever was inside. Which is a really funny way to make a game more interesting, especially because the game by itself is a lot of fun. But that's what we did. So the friend that came with us from Long Island, he was the first one to get caught as the chameleon. And he opened a can, and it was cream of mushroom soup, which isn't that bad. We don't know the expiration date, mind you, but he smelled it and made sure it was not gonna kill him. And then he took a spoonful, and he said it was salty, but it was fine. The friend that lives in Oklahoma was the second person to lose, and he picks cracks a can and opens it, and the room it's just instantly filled with the smell of fish. And it's a big can, like not a tuna can, it's a big can. So we instantly knew that it was fish. I'm not paying any attention to what I'm doing here, and I'm sorry. I try to move back and forth, and I've just been so invested in the story. So it's this big can, and it smells like fish, and it is not pleasant. And he sips the liquid in it, which I would not have done. That's nasty. And he confirmed that it was fish, as if we needed any confirmation. And then he takes a spoon, and he digs in, and it basically looks like tuna, but it is clear that it is not just meat. There was like cartilage in there, which was kind of nasty. And he took a spoonful of it. I told him, I'll give you a pass. I'm a stickler for rules, but I would not want to eat that, so I will give you a pass if you want. But he ate it. And he, as far as I know, he is not sick. It's so interesting going to other states because on Long Island we have, I think, some of the biggest airports in the country. I know Georgia, I think Atlanta is the biggest airport, or the busiest airport, I should say. But I'm pretty sure JFK is up there. And then we flew into Will Rogers Airport in Oklahoma, and it's so tiny you could spit from one end to the other. When we first got there, we weren't sure where our friend was to pick us up, and we're like walking through the airport, and we take 5 steps, and we basically walk through the entire thing. And this is just a comparison to JFK, by the way, with multiple terminals. There's obviously nothing wrong with having a small airport. In fact, it was very nice because getting through security was much, much faster, much less stressful. I don't want you to think that I'm throwing shade at other states' airports. But we saw one exit, and it said the east exit, and there was somebody walking by who worked there and said, "Do you guys need help?" And we said, "Yeah, is there another exit?" And he said, "Yeah, the west exit." And we said, "Oh, okay, where's that?" And he just pointed like right to the exit. It's so funny how different things are. Oklahoma's, I mean, it's populated, but not nearly as populated as New York, obviously. Okay, let's move on. Next, I want to do a bit of visual ASMR because I really like how that came out on a previous video. And I've done this exact trigger before and really like it. Let's see, what else do I have to tell you? Work is, for those of you who have watched like a lot of my videos, you might know that part of the reason that I decided to taper back a little bit with my posting schedule is because work was kind of up in the air for a while, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to have work going forward. But thankfully, that was very stressful. But thankfully, things have come back around, and it seems like I will have work for the foreseeable future at least. And I started, I guess, building starting a new business. It always sounds a little pretentious to me to say that, but it is what I'm doing, and that's actually going really well too. So a lot of the pressure is off, or at least the short-term pressure. I still think that I need to put a lot of time and energy into making sure that everything that I have right now is sustainable, but for right now, the pressure has lessened. And thank you to everybody who commented on, I think it was the video after, I think it was my last video actually. Just, saying that they hope that things turn around for me. I appreciate that very much. Uh-oh. That's okay, we were pretty much done with this trigger anyway. I had another trigger, but I'm running out of time, so I'll just use this one to say my farewell. I think I showed you guys this. It's a wooden puzzle, and the pieces are, if it would focus, there we go. This is a puzzle piece. Like, look how cool that is. Or like that. They're not like standard puzzle pieces. And it's made of wood. My wife and I really like puzzles, so I got her this, I think 2 Christmases